Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a question that really seems small on the surface but has so much potential to cause stress and pain in a lot of women. And actually, maybe you've asked the question, maybe you've had somebody ask you the question. In this video, I'm going to break down why this innocent sounding question can potentially be harmful. Stick around and I hope that by the end of the video, you're going to at least think twice before you ask the question. Ideally, just stop asking it. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tafara. I'm a Zimbabwean mama bear raising her son in Germany. Okay, so today I picked a topic that I personally find very interesting. Not interesting because it's exciting, but interesting because it's annoying. A couple of years ago, I had absolutely had enough of this question. Interestingly enough, all these strangers have been doing the mathematics on my behalf and they feel it's now an appropriate time to be asking this question again. Most of the time, people actually don't mean harm. It's just pure curiosity. Maybe they're just trying to have a small talk or they're just trying to connect, but it's almost as if it's like a cultural script, right? You get married, you buy a house, you have children. But here's the thing, just because a question is common, it doesn't mean it's okay. I'm going to start with the most important reason why you should not be asking this question, simply because it is none of your business. 95% of the people that were asking me when I was finally going to have a child, not a single one has made any contribution to my child's existence, whether emotionally, whether financially. They don't even know him. It's even people that weren't even that close. And then the next obvious reason is infertility. 1 in 6 couples globally have challenges with infertility. So I mean, if you think about the people that you're interacting with and you potentially ask somebody when they have when they're planning on having a baby, the chances that they're actually having fertility issues are pretty high. And if this is not something a person has chosen to disclose to you, like I said, with the most important reason, it's absolutely none of your business. And I feel like people should not be put in a situation where they're forced to disclose information they were not ready to disclose with you, or maybe do not want to share with you, or it is also often an emotional burden. So cornering someone into a situation where they have to address those emotions or where they have to speak about that topic when they did not want to is really inconsiderate. And infertility just being an umbrella term, they could be going through IVF, they could have had multiple miscarriages, but they could have other female reproductive issues like endometriosis or PCOS. The list is endless. So when you ask a woman this question, you're like potentially poking a wound. The next reason is one that's very difficult for a lot of people to accept and understand. But some women simply don't want to have children, and that is absolutely okay for the women that don't want to have children. So when you're saying to somebody, when are you going to have a child? You're assuming it's a given. You don't know whether a person wants to have children or not. And they're also not forced, they don't have to disclose to you whether they want to one day have children or not, because I have witnessed conversations where a woman said she did not want to have children. People absolutely didn't understand. I'm talking about this now. I've been people before where I was like, oh my gosh, you'd be such an amazing mom and whatnot. I've reached a stage where I've learned and come to terms and been able to understand why people don't want to have children. And I've had people in that situation express to me how it makes them feel when this conversation is shoved down their throat. So just it's really, again, none of our business. What a lot of people don't realize about that simple sounding question is that it can quickly spiral into grief or guilt or just exhaustion. So, for the woman that has just had a miscarriage, having somebody ask her this question is like a punch in the gut. For the woman that's saving money, working on her career, trying to build the ideal future that she wants for a child, having people ask you that question can make you feel guilty, or, it can give you pressure. Like, have I set my priorities straight? And then also lastly, for the woman that does not want to have children, it is just exhausting to always have to tell people you don't want to have children and guaranteed there's going to be a discussion about why don't you want to have children, how amazing children are, and all that jazz. So, all that light-hearted small talk, it can leave a person feeling judged, feeling broken, or questioning their decisions. We should just really normalize not asking those questions. And I think I have not said this often enough in this video. It's none of our business. I'm also sometimes curious about, it's just curiosity. But I'm like, you know what? My curiosity has no priority here. It is not my place to ask. Interestingly enough, over the last few weeks, this is why I thought, let me bring this video up. It's a topic that used to annoy me before I had a child. Like, there were 2 intense years. I say intense because it's like the world was just asking me when I was having a child. It was none of their business. It was random people, like the cleaning lady at work, the people that work in production. How does, my family planning have an impact on them? It was also some aunties and some friends, but asking in a very insensitive manner. And now, like over the last 2 weeks, I've had 3 colleagues ask me when I'm going to have the second one. The first lady that asked me, I said to her, do you realize that that's a very inappropriate question? You don't go around asking people when they're having a child because it's none of your business. But I will tell you, I'm not planning on having one right now. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I hadn't realized. And then another guy asked me, and interestingly enough, I said to him, I expect somebody like you to know that this is an inappropriate question, especially because you have 2 children. Also, I didn't say this, but also because I know that they had fertility issues. How are you going to have fertility issues and then just blatantly ask another person when they plan on having another child? He doesn't know me. He doesn't know my story. And then I had the third person asking me. I said, why are you guys all asking? Like, this is an inappropriate question. She's like, yeah, because of your age and you already have 1 child and the age. She's doing the mathematics for my child, for my family, and random. Let's just not ask that question. And I think a lot of women that have had that question asked would really appreciate it if they no longer had, people asking them this question. Because, and this is the last time I'll say it today, it is absolutely none of our business. If you're really curious about somebody, ask them what's driving you at the moment, what personal goal are you working on, what's exciting you. Speak about something that gets a person also excited to talk about. And in my personal experience, when a woman wants to talk about babies, she is not gonna wait to be asked. She's going to do that at her own pace. So here's the challenge. Next time you feel that question bubbling up in your head, like, take a little break and think about the fact that everybody is on their own path at their own pace. And this is, let's just retire that question for good. And I think many people would appreciate that. If this message resonated with you, please share this video, like this video. Let's create a culture where women are not defined by their reproductive plans or not put under pressure by these unnecessary questions. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.